Right, we be akwa about the Abba Sports Arena. Brasso say Transnafi, Yadia Goodiamun Samo, a bro na. I was see this car. What I say, Champions League. Me 2 matches in Amudi Woyeni. Corners do one year showing no man farmer. O man farmer. Crack. 2 matches CD. Corners near the Omudi Woyeni. Inti ever Thursday night football. Football for the legends. And then Omobo, United the Bobby, Tottenham Bobby, Chelsea Bobby, and Yasem get to Accra. Tiabesha no de to me yi os no correct one pa na to me dina bibia so no to me akonkan. Ye momode a na ye to me engine to mu say yes. Arsenal almost Netflix. As a Netflix FC no. Every time bia no yenhwe next season. Eti Arsenal bet match Champions League na this next season. This season, Bobo ko friend no Paris Saint-Germain born home and away. Oyine frim and Paris Saint-Germain a movie to the final. Le no na ye be rem ni ahwe say that French league, you know. Is it hard time I was say more the respect they need because ye nyina nim what Lyon at the year Man United and yet red card a mu di ya kasem to aye Bobo ko friend Manchester United. Paul à Lyon a boy even Lille Metropole Brest mo money mo boy e Champions League na how ye ka say omo league ni ye Farmers League ni kwansan omo da sa suban na di omo da sa ahoden na di and Paris Saint-Germain atumi abo awuram wa share Premier League teams ni nyina yi omo afrim adu final. Premier League na the best league in the world according to the coefficients no. Premier League na dasoro French league na to me we yi the J league no we yi chese we yi Arsenal we yi Aston Villa e de na from na ko final. Barcelona so person J treble anko yi Inter Milan na yi na from extra ko final. So we will have Inter Milan and Paris Saint-Germain at the Munich. And then the history ni bibia e back Paris Saint-Germain. Because first time I be to menje. And pass over the can final pen. Moko final no man to me and so they are in pole position. History be anywhere to me. Adada omo. What I say? Inter so a 2-time champions. Omo jibi dan to mo pedigree. It be a pedigree near the Beckham was a basa record say first time I to me no there. I think say Paris Saint-Germain up I then. Omo overcoming that threshold. It's aka ye de betu edwa 2 teams we mu deserve say also mu do finals ye be wuram ne ya hwe format no a na etumi ye I wish sure say format no etumi aboa ama ye tumi anya world teams o mu do final now ye be hwe ni nyina mu na fe ya hwe ye wi a ye ba be hwe and Thursday night football Bodo Glimt at the 3-1 and e kofie Oni bobo ko Fred Tottenham Hotspur for mo believe say mo do final anisa Man United eso kwa away ko share 3 they believe say omo 9 ba ko si ho but they have 90 minutes against Atletico Bilbao ye de mu nchire mu be bro ye bia na aba Conference League no Fiorentina lose 2-1 I was Spain and omo ba Italy omo betumi attend things around na omo betumi ahwe Adia Inter Milan no mo so omo yi omo yi Spanish opposition free man na time hotel Chelsea kwa away e ko share 3-1 ana 4-1 yes Chelsea ko share 4-1 ene omo ne bobo ko fe no Jagaden ena e debo Chelsea avoid defeat by 4-0 and I say I would come 5-1 in Tennessee or why 5-4. So Chelsea and Lucy by 4-0. Chelsea are qualified to call another final. You be this and come away na bibi aso etumi akonka. But more than join the show no. The street is watching Facebook. Street is watching on Facebook. Me pacho join ni anu more than no share show no. Na wa share show no. Na fe bibia so no atumi akoye share bomode na share show no share to other platforms so na fe amanfo hu say yaba os akonfo na yeden aba na bibia so entumi de enkoye obetumi so ahwen ewo eye YouTube eno eye MYBET.AFRICA MYBET.AFRICA TV MYBET.AFRICA TV bomodin a na join ewo ho na bibia so na entumi nkoye sa so ena online radio ne MYBET online radio bomodin na join ye ho na fi bibia enso enye den enkoye ewo honom joining ewo eye TikTok eye sports.arena.news sports.arena.sports.news ana sports arena sports.arena.news bomodin na fi bibia so na entumi enkoye ewo honom na fi so otumi join ewo eye Telegram account and so sports arena abega for mama kwaba
let's do it.
Share MYBET education na fi share money man.
Yes, I think you run MYBET education mudia every time be you think of for say omo register on MYBET.AFRICA any platform my mouth kwan ma to me fiscal nyese wo fiscal ne keke wo fa de mu edu na say easy asama in Champions League yenim say Tuesday Wednesday na games in you so MYBET for me boy am 8 nya 4 or 5 or ni even 10 or a car corners ni de Champions League am boy kenye sa dia
ka corners ni boy andra obi atwen one corner
andra born in na mun chance nti no MYBET for kwan omo boa edma edi fiscal ni nti wuti a ko www.mybet.africa e browser no e bia top right corner obi hu icon be a circle ni green me aso registration ni wo ho obo so pe na afi de registration 3 steps per simple. First one your phone number, the audio mobile money transactions. The next one question baby say your username to bet me use nickname and would bet me the number ba kumi no be account and be man unique compared to omo on so MYBET platform no so no. The next one your password and no the wa wonim the bet me abobo ashim ubo shame we are MYBET for rest send the verification code. Now they are verify account we are we are deposit our platform omo ma onyama bebre omo so omo ma bet builder we bet builder options with one game bet me selections of 10 omo ma aka bonus ni so boa we are selections na scan mu yedu now bonuses need those send a potential winning no so bet me akosho omo mfa won si ho omo se cash out any partial cash out option into with these two options no game ne koso no bet ma partial cash out wa scan mu bia to ho no atwen ma game na koni wie ana se obetwen no agi cash out option in na nende game no de be koso bia mfa ho eno na MYBET for the mind any register now so join in na fiscal MYBET.AFRICA
right ti baba na join na de be debate ene bodo glimt be she home go ono ni obo home ko be she go ena United ne ayi match no be ba o be she go ene na fei Florentina be she go ene na Chelsea asa she jagade and we su bobo Ali says we are drop a point Ali be winning and no home into for us the 200 cities guswa tema got 1000 into bomodian you be debate and register MYBET.AFRICA TV MYBET.AFRICA what is the register okoye Telegram account wa won say the pin no and na link no click so na register na nyama ye den enkoye mum yen hwe ndra game no first of all yen discuss ndra game no ye wi an ye meme hwe the entire Champions League no are you impressed with the new format and then do you think the new format no am ye hu de na ye pesi ye hu ni ade
okay in ndra game ni I think it was one game I know be a hwe nanim say Arsenal betimi akwa akoye bibi e Paris and our friend is saying France but adeba akone say ndra meka ha said the inclusion of Thomas Partey into this setup no wouldn't give them Memphis said they needed goals so muhia they be qualify the only thing a Partey bit media team way is stability to be able to free the likes of Declan Rice and Odegaard so bit me a many men so it's my boy in draw with Aslan lineup now I think they're not expecting any team by but I was looking at say guess I me try one or two options be to try and make sure say the early goal a bit me about game a bit me about if we ask now in the first, from minute 1 to minute 15, minute 20, Arsenal buy into the game with a lot of pressure. That was what I was expecting them to do, because all quite away na me can say some person replicate the Paris Saint-Germain the Liverpool now, meaning the first 15 minutes 20 minutes no so pressure and so ultimately my team no now ultimately that crucial one goal la after the best set the game at a pace a bebo team na over away no we pressure ne by. But one thing Paris Saint-Germain it me here in these 2 leg games nkofo be brainy and koso ne say in the first leg and in the second leg, what they did is so almost try limit corners as Arsenal nya. Inti nim say Arsenal go into games main strength corner ne ba obi hu no mo na mechi wa ye ball na no ma be rim no obi di ne ho abeka na ahye. And so mo limit Arsenal to those corners meaning say approach ben say Arsenal sand by into the game. Into so here Arsenal set piece coach ni ndra say yesterday hu ya mostly na Arsenal nya throw pe na Thomas Partey akofa ball no. They were looking at using those long throws as a means to replace those corners betimi nyantindra omunya a lot of long throws and nini na call into the box it was very important or crucial for them still intimi amboa with the lineup player bia na so boy represent Arsenal it make sure so it me born home or they need me ball indra Raya in the Champions League we facing 2 penalties with me save 2 penalties nina. And also the back line of Arsenal. I think Saliba, Edu baby, Oma, Sisi, and there are issues going around as a Gabriel protecting them more, especially when they play together. Because you could see 1 or 2 where as a Oshiki Kaka or Bonus, which were chances and Kibeti me lead to go, even in the
normal dip in form. Players we are go through. You go through a bad patch.
Yes, with Saliba there, and I don't think it's a normal dip in form, because if a normal dip in form, that means form need to pay when your best partner in you. And we saw it against Real Madrid in 2 leg games. There were times that he was being shaky on the ball against Paris Saint-Germain. So there were times that he was very shaky on the ball. But I think Arsenal front three, and as you see, Ababe, one of the big questions, especially Saka Bema, all you need from the right wing, but the left wing position. Indra Mekan say, if they want to take advantage of this Paris Saint-Germain setup, a position me, that is Hakimi and Fabian Luiz. Fabian Luiz movement of the ball, a more difficult man, and a Hakimi, or more of like a free role player. So Indra who go or share a position or Gina. And any position in po be hono timi be finding who timi shares are going. So if you want to take advantage of this Paris Saint-Germain setup Hakimi side or at the internet says Hakimi kone ni man they revert into a 3-back system. With a 3-back system Marquinhos send a cover that right side na Pachu ewo finfin na Mendes cover the left side. Ye name say out of these 3 players the pace ewo fem and Marquinhos Pachu will pace, Mendes will pace. So if you want to take advantage, that is the chance, or that is the spot. I'll bet me take advantage of this Paris Saint-Germain setup. And when the name do I make us say, it would Arsenal at the moment don't have a good left winger in their team. So I would prefer putting maybe Saka there to make Hakimi so feel say oh kone nima so timi sign and ultimately babe protect Marquinhos. In the way Arsenal go by it was from that same spot. Trossard enya that chance Marquinhos stop him and ultimately cross a ball now at this particular goal by. So that is one spotter open punish Paris Saint-Germain and you need to take advantage of it. It is a way in Timia, then they will come out and get their goals share. Misambo also say in the Arsenal this season goals on my conceding move over 50% about from set piece. Into Arsenal, even though say they are scoring from set piece, how to protect themselves from set pieces is about a problem. Into in the Premier League against Bournemouth, 2 goals or more conceding now were more of like a set piece. Against where friend is saying Omni Paris first goal from Declan Rice mistake or here and a day half set piece by Paris Saint-Germain it means that crucial goal. So that is one thing as a club. If they are trying to master how to take advantages of set pieces, they need to also look at how to protect their team against set piece and draw. It's me yes, but I think it was a good game for Team FN Paris Saint-Germain. Donnarumma, can't has this Champions League. I think the goalkeepers, it's me teams We've seen other Champions League. We see key players like Ronaldo, Messi being the main men trying to get the goals and a bit more bomb team. But this Champions League, you beat Mabo Somadin, you beat Mabo Donnarumma, Alisson, Usha goalkeepers they've come in to save their teams in crucial games and they are the back because in the first 15-20 minutes, Arsenal team as I go now, in beat me at home, but saves Donnarumma yes, Odiga shots no, any 1 or 2 saves to me a crucial saves. It's my game near more stable mom. I'm as your mutimi dane Nyamatimi bow side. I think Usha Paris Saint-Germain in Finfinwa. Joao Neves, he's one player, he's not getting enough praises. Ewo nyamo ye wo game mo. Adenti Ameka sana, he's one player about top 5 European leagues. Say be a player winning duels, ground duels, player winning MMA and recover from possession. He's one of the best. And in this game, only the most tackles in the game, that is 3. When we would only winning the most duels in the game, 12. And it's hard to see a player like that, the height and in the body type to be able to win balls like that. One thing omutimi the outsmart Arsenal midfield ni say Ushe omo trainer, Fabian Luiz is more slower on the ball. I do ono so ye say up front no. Omuvi ball in term. So Vertinia epic ball no distribute. Na we Joao Neves aye dirty work no. Apart from dirty work no ye no, utimi so e possess ball no and omuvi ball in so term. Compared to Arsenal Finfi no. So enne ade ba ko etimi boa. And I think at the age of 20, now his car Paris Saint-Germain then the torn that is almost 13 million. If we Benfica. Now omutimi ton Ugarte Emma Man 50 million. Edikoto player way. That man you did Joao Neves chiao or mentimi ankwankofano. But he has been one of the key players in this Paris Saint-Germain setup. And I think at the age of 20, or more room for improvement. Obetimi Akunima Babe one of the best midfielders for team a friend Paris Saint-Germain and also for the Portuguese national team. I think Desire Day, Kwaskelia, Bracula, they came into the game, did whatever they need to do to make sure say winners say Timidio their second final ever no eso mutimi remo. Yeshe Arsenal set up now. Thomas Partey Mikanha, his inclusion wouldn't bring them goals. And in the second goal Paris Saint-Germain the mistake was from Thomas Partey. One thing a Partey at the back game muni say movie ball no send the ball no yen 1 or 2 players in film near my ball intimi nkodu ye nim ni intimi ball no betimi abo. But Partey ni sa me man say spirit no of the likes of Makalele Muni Ngolo Kante mu they be active on the ball na mekra why active but Partey do be a otimi da o ball no so ubehu ana ne ho ache no eso otimi ye 1 or 2 things na afa edu be bi ntimi mfa na dey we a friend is a chance amani opponent omo dey ahye and ne Paris Saint-Germain omo abo modern obi enim say they've been rumors time Mbappe ikono. I think Luis Enrique can say bimpo say the nibeji so obe players 3 obi a man 12 goals a season. Since Obenya player back obe man 40 goals a season. So he was building the team based on a teamwork. And yet more say ni beto player back so say player na ntimi ambobo a ye ntimi nya den enko ni me ne etimi abo am say ni abo so no. They've been to the Champions League final in 2020 against Bayern Munich in Yame ntimi amfa. You said the Champions League as I grow, but it has been one history. It has been there for a longer time. You can't get into the Champions League for the first time and win it. Yeah, trying to maybe club but they've been clubs that they've gotten the chance to be in the first chance to win it at Anfa. Then the next time will be no beat me win. And Paris Saint-Germain history ever back here, then they are in pole position to win this Champions League because of performance of Madanidi. On the Arsenal side, and so they were another team and they've not won the Champions League before. They've been to a final and almost lose. So their next final also every history back here say they can go in and win. And Arsenal fans, there are a lot of rumors say Pope will be a English team the Champions League. Intina no so ya nyama etimi back here. Intina omo hwese ene they can get into the final and win against Inter Milan. But nyama etimi ankoye. Now as a now, every history about the Champions League back Paris Saint-Germain to win against Inter Milan. From one team on the PSV, Ishiano or PSV on the Champions League on the PSV a ball draw. Secondly, their second time in the final, and so yeah, the back and on the third point, Munich. Every time there's a final in Munich, there is a new champion on the competition either. So there are three history a back team a friend Paris Saint-Germain to win this Champions League. So on 31st of May, you know how this Paris Saint-Germain team can face Inter Milan and see what they can do in Munich.
Okay. Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, at least one main shirt here for now. Yeah, sounds more but I think that Enra, everything is a very nice game. This season Champions League now my great games are. I think we are hopeful say yenye bi ahwe. Yeah, say Chelsea money other clubs ni bi mumbi. Esa na man niema na kwakoye some way be. But Listo, it was going to this game. Meka say it was very easy, or it was very easy to predict team and the other PSG were going to go into the finals, because looking at how they came to play against Arsenal, Emirates, it was obvious it was going to be very difficult for Arsenal to do that magic. But in fact, Listo, so what check it Arsenal for this season now. They are one team, they've been doing very well, no doubt about that. Apart from more flaws, apart from things Emma or more injury baby people among for who say they are not there. They are performing very well. But Arsenal 5 seasons in the list of Amako a year trophyless. 5 consecutive seasons in Amako trophyless are near my time. But people ask that, are they doing the right thing? Are they doing things that for them to win trophies? Because Arsenal is before a new game, Mbeka say coach and then Mikel Arteta, Ebeka say the number of pointer Omanya in the 2 previous seasons in the English Premier League, they are more than the number of pointer and they Liverpool at the AG League, and no doubt about that. As some now coach in can no correct. But the thing is, football no list a movement and edible football. So the movement movement in be failing. It means that every season you have to attack the season, however, a bit more league. Instead of check Arsenal for now. This season in the league, they've lost as much as games as Chelsea. And then the draws will be brave. The number of draws, any games are dropping points, huge, because no more tension. Baby fufuro. And they are facts. But you see, one thing no game make I say Arsenal started the game very well. Arsenal first started game very, very, very well. And then we check how Arsenal started game now. Their build up was to avoid team and the PSG from pressing them how a PSG for press list or more pressing 1v1 and one make us say the press players 1v1. Then you more press what say if you don't have intelligent players to do that a idea a bit me how but no Thomas Partey inclusion was something and then keep it me about Arsenal build up. But there's one thing Mikel Arteta no different from what they did against PSG or Emirates. In the Noah Julian Timber was playing so high. And then apart from Timber, Ubenya Merino, Ubesansonya Odegaard, all these players Omako camping the left side because they knew that Seban 1v1 situation. Martinelli bet him there Hakimi because Hakimi is always going up front. And the piece are not also with me breaking in the PSG team was Nuno Mendes. The most creative player in their setup at me our pretty. And yes, so and if Bukayo Saka go and manning on because how our Arsenal starting game hit me bomb ye. And I know who that Sitana Bukayo Saka said or the right boy. That should have been a clean goal. I mean a simple goal for a Arsenal team. In general, Nuno Mendes G card in them. But I was hoping say and a card be get me a slow abrantene down 18 minutes and I don't know Mendes again because the pressure he was on one offer players too Timber and Bukayo Saka and the William Pachoso Kobwana a creative space Ebeda Merino Declan Rice and Abrantene Martinelli into actually in the first half in the game no Sasaka the first half start in the better so in the first half list all Arsenal for no in ground duels, in terms of aerial duels, in terms of dribbles and everything, Arsenal now control the pace of the game. Possession wise, everything, the duels in the PSG because almost nana ball need more. But aside from that, the aerial duels, ground duels, especially the number of dribbles are Arsenal for echo in favor of them. But in the second half, we check it starting as well. PSG were in their numbers. They won more of the balls. They made sure say on bet match more game into Russia. PSG came into the game in the second half. But in the first half, list two, I think that Arsenal for no how am I set up team up this season in terms of almost set piece and how much go in and akwa say how Arsenal create your chance akwa baby but akwa same style. And so your team be now who how now who men are on me. I avoided those situations. It's me wow. In as much as individual brilliance, everyone because list to who check it Arsenal this season. It drew a from the corner team because some boy they couldn't even score in 5 consecutive games from open play. Either say a free kick, corner, and no tidy goals in 5 consecutive games. And the master set piece. From corner, but one thing is a list of Arsenal need a team or more constantly goals from set piece this season. They can score set pieces goals, but defending akwa. Young shirt the first picture. Saskad better swamamia. That was when Abranta the Odegaard, Apia board the Aquacoma, Julian Timber at the right side of attack. Into Asha, William Pacho, and Bruno Mendes. Saka ako wide so they omo attack Saka so Pacho ababefa Saka and you see that Nuno Mendes heading to Mika the ababe intercepting ball no from not reaching Abrantende the Julian Timber and baby Abranta na ye did touch ya highlighting so no closer to the referee Declan Rice right now Declan Rice the ball number Odegaard the ball number the right side that is where Arsenal operate here. Right now, fast forward to the second picture. Bono, area box name. Your Arsenal players in 5 players, apart from player number Bono, including the player number ball, 6 players. And checking the number of PSG players are on your right inside the box. They also have 6 players. That is 6v6 at the moment. And then another PSG player, Eba Beckham Odegaard, should in case pass no Eba Odegaard side, obey to intercept the ball. Share the center circle or the arc in front of the 18-yard box. Declan Rice list all, which now free, no player, and they closer to him. Even the player or you closer to him, as I say, Arsenal player. That is Abranta and Martinelli. Instead, no, Arsenal for list all, they didn't play any key passes from the phase 4 or attack into the central areas. And the idea affect them because PSG knew that the ball in Roma, they will lob the ball. Or make cross the ball no so always they left this central space no for Arsenal for no. And they couldn't utilize that because in fact Declan Rice and Odegaard or more ball as the 2 double number 8 double number 10 ahead of Thomas Partey no. Anytime you so many attack and you see Declan Rice and Omuina running in front of the post and we across the moment in Apimache. So in several circumstances, and arise Odegaard and some of the few players that central position Yanfa ball and Mano. And if that ball no call at least would have been a better A. As I can for a PSG Arsenal there no or more 2 graph into so na the number of passes are Arsenal born centrally. And the number of passes are Omobo free the phase 4 of attack. At the bar the central zone. Another zone 14 one in front of the 18-yard box. Baby a Pedri. Eddie share that long goal against Madrid in the Copa del Rey. No? That zone 14 and the central attack space. No, you have the number of passes are Arsenal for the call. In terms of PSG, so a more approaching game, no, equally across all venues of the attack. Arsenal anymore. We check the left half space in the 18-yard box and in front of the 18-yard box. PSG for attack here, at least all. They made total 5 passes and 2 key passes. No, 2. Just that go be and wait me free for by. And another one, so yeah, the right half space. In front of Arsenal, Nima PSG for Enso 8 attack here, at least all. And then almost 6 passes, no key passes because that side, at least all. Dracula couldn't even one boy any key passes. Because anytime you be piano, now who do you? And of course, PSG for not so much in the game. And at least all, you check it is zone 14. Number of passes 14. Sorry, 10 total passes in the zone 14. That is the central area. Make I say Arsenal for intimate utilizing that, And I don't know their video analysts if they're on the field. They want me for any communication. I'm from the technical team now. Man, can you say there's a lot of space or central, so but they kept on doing whatever they think they're committing their PSG team. No? And 2 key passes in the core used to PSG for them to me and utilize it. Now to Arsenal, the full 90 minutes, the left half space, Arsenal football used to 16 passes. 16 passes from the left half space. Be free goalkeeper, be free defenders, from midfielders, alcohol. From Martinelli, Dabre, any Rice, fast Dabre now. 16 passes in the list on boy. Maybe a Bukayo Saka, Julian Timber, any Martin Odegaard, all pretty or more apply pressure or more affected PSG in the first half. List of number 22 passes and 3 key passes. In fact, goes no munya any no. I mean the go up Sakanya was through that half right half space near that one. And again, I want about 3 key passes, which was incredible for them because it worked for them. And limiting Nuno Mendes, but they still he also affected them in some way. Now at least you're into the zone 14. You look into the zone 14, passes that cause zone 14 in where passes are near every either defense and now from zone 14 to zone 14 in short passes. No pass, no long pass via any free the left hand side or the right hand half space. About the zone 14 or the central zone of Liverpool Arsenal for attack. No? And they couldn't even play 1 key pass crowd. And it's something that I think that Arsenal for them more failures on my year. But listo, Joao Neves. When I started calling this guy N'Golo Kante with Flair, people didn't understand why now my friend N'Golo Kante with Flair. He might not play to the level who believe he said or what with N'Golo Kante, but the attributes, how he controls the game or winning balls, Edema PSG used to are incredible. So how did they compare Declan Rice, especially this season? And there Declan Rice, I watch Chenya Brandt and there the Joao Neves. Say young for boy and 2 million. And no crampono ball carry no. Declan Rice, a Bruno no. Why 78.3 ball carriers this season across all competition, and Declan Rice 93.1. But in terms of PSG, how PSG for more ball no. A more time for ball in carry because anytime you may apply pressure to the left side or maybe PT press behind it is Dembele desire do it. And they initiated that ball carrying, but yes, still he has been doing that. So none of the attributes, and now your friend saying qualities in the game are being here from such number 8 in the game of late. None of them, apart from ball carrying, and the Declan Rice. I was saying Abranta and the Joao Neves. List all, and we're making history. The history of the UEFA Champions League. Because check it, Joao Neves. List all numbers are. And now Branton in Yaya, especially the tackles, 57 tackles in the UEFA Champions League this season. And Branton Aye, the most by any midfielder in a single UEFA Champions League, apart from the Gattuso year in somewhere 207 to 8, which was 59. And then now the number of checking the numbers, the game numbers, 6 tackles, and 6 times possession or winning, and you have 4 clearance every need 2 fouls, the number of touches onya and the pass completed. Medical say in as much as this PSG team no. Adebako ebeha uni omu hye ebeha omu say omu ni ball ne ball. And the omu time says passes. Omu time check passes are 40 passes are ebeye error leading to goal. And now out of 30 passes are Branton nya and list to emu 3 penalty and landed to a PSG player. And yet again Ousmane Dembele by he didn't start the game because of the injury situations, and right now they are into the finals. I don't even think say any of our league 1 game on the ball they will even play him. Maybe Omemana Bakaka because of match fitness, because the game against Inter Milan match fitness Ebekasa Yepa. Also she 8 goals, 4 assists in the UEFA Champions League this season. What breaky Kylian Mbappe record in 2020 season. That is the season Omotimi Eko the UEFA Champions League final. So listen, you look at all these things I think that Ebo Yepa and Hakra Fakimi is also elevate up to expectation. The only defender listen what's directly involved in more goals in the UEFA Champions League than any other defender this is 5 assists and 3 goals, and then the goal share if you had the number of drives or boy and share he was also superb. To be very honest, Arsenal Eboboni in Jamaica Enra Mikel Arteta was saying that the best team won. Even the bench was even saying NNA Luis Enrique be denying said what the most important thing in the game and Zobeshe goes out, and he don't see say Arsenal were the best. He said Arsenal was only better in the first half. But yes, and Arsenal proved that they needed. I mean they've worked their way through to the semi-finals because you saw and now Arsenal for a produce and goals expected, which was 3.14, the most by any team against PSG in the Champions League this season. The judge said how Arsenal played against PSG and team being one PSG above ball this season. Oma PSG watching now. I was saying a lot of goals against PSG this season. And Arsenal for no said no Komenya goals scored at least 3 goals because Arsenal team in this game. But yes, the thing is they couldn't stop a PSG from not scoring, and I know idea it affected almost so much. To me, the no American has a daty back. Any team the Champions League biano, your goalkeeper has to be a hero. Your goalkeeper has to be the talking point after every point in time, after every game. Into the moment Courtois, Madrid they the Champions League twice winning. Always Courtois don't him go down. See the number of saves all year. And no American Edward Mendy, Ebo Edison. In the best ever season for Manchester City, that was when Omoji the UEFA Champions League. The crucial stage all year. And you air Real Madrid the BM against Borussia Dortmund. And now we are young summer. Number of saves. Oh yeah, ultimately deny Barcelona from not reaching the finals. Donnarumma making 7 saves. Emirates. And then another crucial saves, especially in the first 20 minutes of the game. Sadly saves no yeah no we saves at least to it me bo man in akoye. So I think that at least to going forward teams omako the Champions League final no there boy. I mean for the first time in several years or in so many years you benya a UEFA Champions League final and feature a German team and feature a Spanish team and some feature an English team for the first time in so many years. And then a PSG for this to England teams 4 and some reach the final. So I think that yesterday list to returns a very nice game. To be very honest, I think that the best 2 teams are boy the UEFA Champions League this season. The final, and no doubt about that. Ubisa said
the format.
The format.
Yeah.
To me, I think that this format is more or less like too open for everything to showcase I deserve to be there. Because listen to and can 4 groups. We say 2 big clubs. Any teams be free actually playoffs by. And mostly be now say that big teams in there qualify. Say if PSG qualify or playoff no they qualify by how.
Yeah.
But if normal group stage now, trust me saying home and away now listen. And can still PSG will qualify. as either the first or second. But how a boy a game that league phase no, and my who some the strength of some teams, and then they read the knockout stage. The approach at the knockout stage no, and so different. So to me, the new phase in some of the kind is exciting. It gives us a lot of games. Fans are yepe football no, you a lot of games because you see the number of games are I'm about in this season no, more than the number of games are I'm about in previous seasons.
Okay.
And then because the players are players fatiguing the but I mean this is the UEFA Champions League, and I think that the new format of the Abano is not as bad at the start of the season.
Okay, all right. Into Yansha and matches no, yeah, Yansha and matches no, the Conference League and the Europa League.
Yes, I think NSA Remudia meaning to the Conference League and Europa League in the last European competitions. I her teams a bit mirror. That is the final. I mean, starting Man United any Atletico Bilbao game on Bebo. I think it ended in a good result for Man United, especially with Bilbao. Not throughout the competition, don't lose home, and their home ground were one ground. And now Babe to say Team Biakoha or Branson with me a picky point or a picky goal score. If you are Man United, it me share 3 goals. This is one game a boy Man United year, especially winning 3-0 and now coming back to a fixture. They can feel comfortable and play their heart out and win. And then Atletico Bilbao be Messi players 4 they are very important in their setup. 1 Nico Williams, 2 Inaki Williams, 3 Vivian onunya red card on Timimbo, then Sunset onuyo key number 10 and this season what add a lot of goals to their team. So if they are missing out on these 4 players, I mean say they are going into the game without their key defender, without their key wingers, and also their number 10 and will contribute a lot to the game. So I think it will be one fixture. We win a more in Branty and will feel confident going into the game. But one thing about European competitions, they say don't always feel confident till the last whistle has been blown on the 90 minutes, because Senia Bilbao Timina red card the whole game change, anything can happen. Man United say when European competitions are games are about for wabo home, emu 9 wabo home no, emu 8 go Timi Taibo. Inti ene Senia best start show now boss say likely say Bilbao bet me go Spanish side issue 4 times and emu 4 ni na mbo go Old Trafford. Inti ene enye mo say the game would end in a go and now maybe Man United be winning crab Bilbao ebenya chance go. Man United about this competition if they can go into this game and no loser, meaning say they've gone from the group phase to this semi-final without no losing a game, even with their bad form or more in the Premier League. So I think it's one big motivation for them, so they can end the semi-finals and get into the final. They'll become the second English club to do that at Chelsea in Mauricio Sarri time, and they'll become that club. They'll be able to win the competition, going unbeaten, and after winning the competition, they will get into the Champions League next season. It will be a booster for them, especially with their poor former. Or this is your 14th in the Premier League. This is the only chance of getting an European football, I think. And then Obi Obeko Stadium or player be Obesha Man United JC Gina Park, so would have this thing behind them and they go into this game and try and put in their best. And then say me come and MYBET.AFRICA on this particular fixture. May call for Man United win or draw, may call for over 2.5 and also both teams to score. I think these are options they likely say beat me about Bilbao Energy say they will come in and get a goal in the first half or 2 in the first half. Man United will also be scoring goals, so it will be one difficult fixture, I think, and this will be a time it should be. Bodo Glimt and Tottenham. I think the game would have been an easy game. So man Bambesha that late equalizer now. And now that late equalizer na ba baby bia about my Bodo Glimt for hope. Or baby sasa didn't na baba mom hope. They are one team in the in the Europa. Anytime they play at home, they are scoring 2 or more goals. And also this competition games are about home no lose here. So meaning they are highly motivated going into this game.
Okay.
They are one team at about home on lose. No about home so they are scoring 2 or more goals. You against Lazio, you against top opponent, and they've been able to show that strength against teams.
Moreno team no home and away.
Roma home and away no. Yes. So their performance at home there. And every time they are away form in your bobo home. Every meaning say Europa in Wabeka has said their home pitch. Any the way a pitch no texture in your material and yet the normal European standard no. Into do baby clubs need be called so this is one thing that they have behind them. Say they want to take advantage of this Tottenham setup. But say a bad team work out that type of games Angie at the Celtic court some time ago we need 2-1 into also say would that start a bit more one in this game for them to get that victory over team a friend Bordeaux Glim. Tottenham also equate the same like lifeline to Man United or also this season so me Angie Europa now me any European sport because of position or that in the league log into any Tottenham out of their 21 European competition games or mabo emu 18 so obo home first no kwa we emu 18 wetimi akowini qualify into any they would have a big of motivation behind them which would be one thing about Tottenham ye they will be missing out some of their key players. It's a Madison into me but I don't think it's a song and so be available bit me about so they'll go into this game with 2 key players and they'll be missing out which are key players and can bit me bomb in securing this victory but the likes of Johnson would be key players for the Tottenham team to try and make sure say go bit me in the early stages of the game meaning say Tottenham etimidi go ne etu na Bordeaux Glimt for who said this is something that they can't do anything about. This fixture is a very difficult fixture. Obi bisa say who to qualify. Yes, I think Tottenham will qualify, but I don't think Tottenham would win the game on the night because of history about Bordeaux Glimt, their pitch and also the way of ball home. So I think the likeliest option I made to be for so bet me in this fixture bear 1.5 or 2.5 or both team to score and likely say bet me about because Bordeaux Glimt will surely score a goal and Tottenham would also score a goal. We Tottenham so away from especially now away from in the Europa and until the last time you say it was even shocking say Tottenham team could 1-0 victory or Frankfurt. Into that is something that is making this fixture a whole difficult for Tottenham. I think if it was a 3-0 win over England, it would have been an easy win, easy qualification for Tottenham. But with 2 goals difference, I didn't say team B in Bordeaux Glimt to home Biana 2 goals sharing day. It will be a difficult fixture for team a friend Tottenham. So I'm looking at a both team to score a 1.5 or 2.5 in this game. Okay. The Conference League with Fiorentina. Any Betis game. I think in the first league, 2-1. I think a 2-1 result in this fixture it doesn't secure you the friend is saying the qualification to the final. I didn't make us and it's a Fiorentina in its last 6 European knockout stages. Wako away akwako lose by 1 goal margin. Obebo homa emu 4 obe Dani lead no e de qualify. Nti emu 2 pe and went to me and yes, I didn't to against top clubs. They couldn't do it. Into they have big motivation going into this game. Says so mo bohoma against team a friend Betis. So mutimi make sure because just a goal would put them ahead of team a friend Betis. Now Fiorentina Obohoma the last time we lose a game at home. 16 February against Como. Como Koshe 2-0. That was the only game at Fiorentina this season. Uji game of against Napoli. That was the only game our boy one shego home. Nti se ka se team be timi ashego on the home turf Fiorentina. Ni na begina how would Betis also come into this game? Nti Fiorentina to score one option kwan bia so no ene ebebo. The next option Betis. We Betis now away from going into European competitions onu so etimi every time you are massive good point away across all competitions or making sure say on team pon win you away or share 2 or more goals into so in the last fixtures coming back game be a wabo away biano or she go. So this fixture will be one fixture. I think it will be very difficult from the outside, especially 2 teams they are all looking at getting into the final and they are looking at the other end. It's either say they will meet Chelsea, and if they are going to meet Chelsea, how will they go into the game prepared? That means you need to jam this hurdle and make sure you get into the final prepared. I think this fixture, it will be a difficult game for team friend Betis, especially going to Italy. You better this season, on a team on 2 ko Italy. This season now on call ball game with Italy. So it will be something they are going there and they'll be looking out say they can get the chance to qualify for the Conference League final and also win a trophy. Almost their season about on and off because they need to get into that European spot or a Champions League spot from their league, because Conference League no near amount any qualification into any position. It will be one thing that they will be fighting for. At least a trophy would crown their season too well. This fixture, I think a 1.5 is likely to play in this game, and the best option I meet me call for maybe a handicap of 2 for Team FN and Real Betis. I don't think they will go down by 2-0 or 3-0 to with Florentina without a fight. So it will be a very difficult game. This will be one of the most exciting games tonight. I think there's a lot of pressure on Florentina and also a lot of pressure on Team FN Betis. With Chelsea, any Jagadin game, maybe can't after that game they say you say Enzo Maresca a lot of changes. The likes of Kopama, the likes of Nicolas Jackson, Bobby. At the internet said not or share said that game will be bought this weekend against Newcastle. No? They will have a lot of players to rest and also come into that game and make sure say Chelsea a bit me we need that crucial win. Now it's me abo mama make me qualify for this will be their 8th European final. Nti ene otimi wema it will be their 8th European final. Chelsea across 7 European finals. With that 7 European finals, we may lose just one. Nti about team okuta record in European final, and included the Super Cup, their first European final against Real Madrid. And that has been the only final that Real Madrid are boy lose. It comes down. The last time we lose an European final was against Man United in 2008. Apart from that, any European final be at Chelsea team. They go into those finals and try and win. Into one thing they have behind their mind, if they are to crown their season as a successful season and also a good phase one for Coach FN Enzo Maresca, then they need to get into this final and make sure they win the Conference League and they become the first team in Europe to have won 3 different European trophies. That is the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League. It's any pressure that Chelsea to be able to do things and make it right. They've been to 16 European leagues out. So Chelsea abo away, no we winning, no aba home. 16 in now we winning. Into any every history is backing Chelsea to win this game. But any more say we'll see the likes of a champion and also some of the young talents getting the nod ahead of some of the senior players. But I think there will be 1 or 2 senior players who will be included to at least balance the squad. This is one fixture I don't think with home form at Chelsea Equita, and also in their recent last form in the Chelsea last 4 games we're winning in now, including Everton, including Liverpool. So this is a fixture I'm not seeing Jagadin coming to pull up any upset. Maybe by scoring Chelsea by 4 goals to qualify ahead of them, maybe. This is one fixture with the way I think Chelsea wouldn't have a balanced squad. And so we'll call for Chelsea straight winner. No, Chelsea will surely score goals. So with this fixture, the best option I may call for over 2.5 in this game. And surely maybe you may see a goal sending who in the first leg. So I'm seeing the final being Chelsea and a team friend with Real Betis, and also in the Europa. I'm looking at the final between Man United and also Tottenham Hotspurs.
Okay,
yeah. Listo, my main chat for BM. I think that the Champions League near who teams on Beko and Aquaquas in the Champions League. Apart from Interne Basadena, they played a 3-3. I mean, Stormits. It's difficult to predict which team will go and which team not to go. No, especially in the Champions League. Arsenal and PSG, team are qualify, but don't a team or share in the first leg. Any team, or share the second leg or qualify. And one thing about the history of the UEFA Champions League, and as a UEFA competition, is that teams are at least or mostly winning the first title. Winning the first league, whether home or away, by some margins of goals, they seem to qualify to the next stage of the competition. Right now, Bodo any Tottenham game list or a game a mobile in Yepa. And in the history of the Europa League in list or out of the 92 teams are winning by 2 or more goals in the first leg. List or a moon 9. And then team progress it to the next stage of the competition. In the you know, what the Tottenham Hotspur are now winning by 3-1 at the London Stadium. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or share Bodo. Out of the 92, he should say majority, almost 90% of teams on my side, man. Omutai winning by 2 or more goals in the first leg. Omutai qualify to the next stage of a competition. And then they one leading 2 or more goals on first leg on home soil since the competition. And yeah, this all I had a bomb. But then, regardless of the outcome of Nyame Adoma, and then you make game a bekoso, a war, no way, Bodo for home grounds. Bodo for na ya adibia entansi. So I know that the players will be proud of themselves. Either they qualify or they do not qualify, because in history in this door, the first Norway team do na European semi-final, a major European competition semi-final. So it is something that the players are doing, and they want to do more to reach the final, which is something that any team in Norway. But indeed, listen, Norway Bodo Glimt for no, winning each of our last 5 Europa League games, share 15 goals in the process. Nzene metese okase Bodo to score, likely, possible, especially 80% likely, 80% possible for Bodo Glimt to score against Tottenham Hotspur. Nyame aduma ni enyume mo home ground. And who teams at least especially when Lazio Echo visit omo, they scored Lazio before Ansana omobabe even ababe qualify, and they are called in the 10. And aside that, this to Bodo Glimt's last 8 games across all competition, this to they are unbeaten at home. Their last 8 games in all competition this season, they are unbeaten. The last time Mulusian was when Karabakh FK even in that game Grampono na a league phase. Since then they've been winning, especially our home ground. A idea a bit me I affected man the Tottenham Hotspur. But list all Uber check a Tottenham. On the other hand, they have some players in this game. So going to Bodo home a gamer a very difficult for Tottenham for no. With their last 5 games unbeaten in Europa League, in their last 8 unbeaten games across all competition, they beating affected team and the Tottenham Hotspur. They are going to this game without James Maddison, of course, in himself Lucas Bergvall, any Dragos in players they are long time, but any saw him mean any Dominic Solanke. If they are going to play, it will be very easy for Tottenham Hotspur. But in the late visitor test, we don't know if they are going to start or they are not going to start. But in their absence, I expect Richarlison, any Manchester or any other day to cause problems for Bodo Glimt for no. And I don't see Bodo Glimt used to some best stop it Tottenham Hotspur from not scoring, because check Tottenham for away games at least or they seem to be scoring apart from the games. 3 games are omokoto aso no muntimi shego. That was against AZ Takmal, Fulham, and Chelsea. Aside from that, almost a number of last games, especially in their last 15 games are away games. They failed to score against Liverpool. And that 3 teams I mentioned: Fulham, Chelsea, and it's my there AZ Takmal. So I don't see Bodo Glimt being one of the teams I'll make him stop it. The Tottenham from not scoring. In fact, it might be very difficult. If Tottenham wants to score, they have to go the extra mile, because their last 4 games at least Bodo Glimt are home. Ninginamo winning by a clean sheet, especially 2-0 against Lazio, and notable one 3-0 against Olympiacos. Boy, I think that is going to be an interesting game. To be very honest, Tottenham for least out of almost 21 UEFA Champions League knockout ties or UEFA knockout ties, despite being the Champions League and a Europa League or even Conference League or Mabobiano. Any out of the 21 knockout games of Mabobiano list, they have been able to win from 18 of their previous 21 whenever Oma winning the first leg. And you see, out of the 21, Emu Miensa Omentimian qualify. Last was Real Madrid, Sevilla, and in the 1980s more Omni IFK Göteborg for a boy. So check the caliber of the teams apart from Gutenberg in the late 80s and at the early 80s. Sevilla there and Real Madrid there, they won the first leg of qualifying. In fact, the caliber of such teams, especially Sevilla in the Europa League, they are the best team in the Europa League. As in team Awaji the Europa League more, and also the Real Madrid, the most successful club in the history of the Champions League. So in the Europa League, successful club which is Sevilla, and in the Champions League, successful club which is Real Madrid. No, and they are the only teams are in recent times since 2000 ever. Ama Spurs are winning first leg. Over 10 years. Ama Spurs are coming. I don't see Bodo Glimt doing such thing. So list all, I think that it will be a go, maybe a 1-1 and a 2-2 go affair be. And Tottenham Hotspurs will win on aggregate. So I see a 2-2 go in this game. A 2-2 draw in this game. Then Tottenham Hotspurs will win on 5-3 on aggregate. Or the Beko Nenim. Another one, list all. Hey, Atletico Bilbao. Any Manchester United game on the ball. In fact, list all Bilbao for normal winning 6 of Europa League matches on my ball in this season was some mess. And no million lusu e home soil for over 8 months in all competition. In Zobekaya, in the first leg, I was so much aggressive. Sure, say United will find it very difficult to win against Atletico Bilbao. It was some mess because in over 8 months across all competition, especially in the Europa League this season, almost 6 games from Aboina, it was some mess, which is going to be the venue I be hosting this season's Europa League. You know, I'm winning in Agua and they went to no per se, host and win. But that 3-0 victory, United I think that is going to be very difficult for them. But I mean, one thing about United game this season is no more unbeaten. Whenever they were Omoko into the first leg against Atletico Bilbao, and after that game, they are unbeaten with 5 wins, 8 wins, 5 air draws on my bond this season, and then they can only become the only 7th team and the only the second English team and they used to or meet me about in European elite competition. I'm unbeaten do final. The last time Chelsea be Baku, unbeaten as also Arsenal. Only 17 spare and at our record now. United would want to be part of that history makers. But then list to all. Ochake last game winning against Bilbao. They went on to lose in the English Premier League again to Brentford. But right now their position on Morton list to all. If United have any chance of playing in any of the European competition next season, and it's be a pulling factor for them in the summer transfer window. List all, they don't have any option than to win the Europa League. So be making a Champions League spot, and that Champions League spot will attract players United next season. In the list all, they were near me United for Ruben Amorim. If a person Victor Goycores and any player say Osimhen, these are the players whenever they are moving to a team, they want to be rest assured that at least you are playing the Europa League. And if United is not going to offer them any of these things, it means that the kind of project proposal or presented to these players should be lucrative, should be I will say there. I will say oh Charlie, joining Man United the next 3 seasons, the project is a budget Champions League, you budget the English Premier League. And Sikans will else come drew. But right now, as at now, Sir Jim Ratcliffe already said they will lift a lot of money to any other player. They won't spend much unless they sell more than 13 players or more United CCA. So if they want to do that, they have to win and they have to qualify to the competition. But don't check it United for they are unbeaten, all the records, everything for the list of a favor United, so meet me qualify. Money mankind, the absence of Nico Williams, Inaki Williams, and another player, and he has been fantastic for Atletico Bilbao this season. A brand and the other sunset. Also, Obe Messi this game. A bit me affect me. To be very honest, I think that United almost list no man had their put at least or more draw be the United for betting being unbeaten in this season. You know, 8 of Man United for last UEFA Champions League game. List all, whom both team to score. To be very honest, I can see Atletico Madrid scoring in this game. I see Atletico scoring in this game. I'll go in for maybe a 3-2, a 2-1 victory for Manchester United. United are near their crampo there. A 2-2 draw, a 1-1 draw be there. They can play in this game. I think that United will also qualify to the next stage of the competition. Now to the Conference League. With Chelsea, it looks likely they are the giants. In fact, when you start the Conference League, you know, ubet me 90% of the population of we are saying Chelsea is going to win, because so Osunu Aone and Kamai Etiferia definitely him say the Janeba when I say OJ Janisi Wami Wapempim. And his Wapempim will be very difficult for the dogs to say or make climb or Ababefa Adriano. So Conference League in the Chelsea going to final, especially on the Jagger in airball is no match. And Chelsea are winning 4-1 in the first leg. I expect Chelsea to progress to the next stage of the competition. In fact, list of Chelsea far progressing from 16 previous European ties are winning the first leg away from home. And almost ties our record now. And maybe they will fill in Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, and other players to stack up the numbers. I bet me a bomb. But then I don't think the Jagger then for maybe there will be a lot of players Chelsea be rest in the top 5 race no more, because Chelsea it was a tough game. And now tough games, but we're checking the last games Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, Manchester United. A big game. So I expect coach Enzo Maresca will rest some of the players. I think that Magui reporting about maybe you bet another minute. Wash the academy midfielder and attacking midfielder ball short be a keeper and chain, you know. Maybe Nkuku he bet more minutes in this game. I expect Chelsea to win this game, but they should be able to keep a clean sheet. So I'll go in for a Chelsea win, both teams to score no over 2.5 goals in this game. And corners, I'm doubting say a lot of corners ain't been bad this game. Real Betis any a Fiorentina game list all another cranker game, because these are two teams we believe that one of them will head into the final, especially the first leg. Real Betis for no Enya the North winning by 2-1 but coming up against Real Betis, especially Fiorentina list all, if they are playing at home any team because o check Fiorentina games about Florence this season na among time lusu. In fact, almost last 5 games home win 3 lose 2 about draw 2. The only team okokoshe Fiorentina in over last 10 to 12 games boy was Como koshe in 2-0. And aside that, only 2 teams and Fiorentina aside from Como, which is Napoli and Udinese. So it might be a very difficult game for Fiorentina. They might not get the game how Omunya game no Spain. But Real Betis. How Omunya game no was Spain. It might not be the same thing. But Fiorentina for least all Omunya progressing from 4 of almost last 6 European ties lose the first leg away from home by a lone goal and by a 1-goal margin. So it is possible for them. And then they have all their players available. I'll make me punish a team and the Real Betis. Moise Kean this season he's been scoring for fun. And if Real Betis are able to stop Moise Kean, I think that it will be a very easy game for them. But then you check Fiorentina for the store. They don't have a lot of injury. Good Monson goals since more add Lemoni David the will live up to expectation. But I expect Anthony and is coming to do the very needful team for a Fiorentina team this season. So if Fiorentina for Bateman the Omo dreams of Conference League now, it means that a potential hat-trick or final losses near they beat me at home. Because I check Real Betis for now. They should have won both skills any sign this season to help them. Anthony is scoring for fun. Isco, Bakambu, a player, honestly a player to watch this season. If Fiorentina are able to limit these players. Now Moise Kean good months and money go since any very good gamer. I don't see Fiorentina losing this game. I'm going for a double chance for Fiorentina for the fact that Omo a very good home record, and also for the fact that Omo lose by a long goal margin out of the 6 Omo team progress from this game. List still open. Whoever will be taking the chances, a bit me. But if Fiorentina are able to limit Isco, Antonio, or form Pocoli, any Bakambua, I won't be surprised if Fiorentina is going to play the final with Chelsea. But they're going for maybe a 1-1 draw or a 2-2 draw in this game. Both teams to score over 1.5 goals, over 8.5 corners. So, likely, say beating a ball over this game. List all.
Okay, right. Yeah, sure. And Ghana will match. Ghana ne Cape Verde, right?
Yeah, but Ghana they are qualified.
Yeah.
Because we group no.
Yes, Mami.
We share group now.
Yeah.
We need at least a point because.
Okay, listo. Mami fa analysis be a automatically. Ghana qualify. You see, on the 3 groups, and in the group now here, Bono, there's a team at least all. I will say, Otimi. Third best team are also team qualified. Right now, list to us. So check it. The group B, which is group B or Morocco, Nigeria, Tunisia, and Kenya now. Morocco was 7 points. Nigeria was 5 points. Tunisia was 3 points. Now, you share a group A C. I want DR Congo, Ghana, and Senegal. Then also group A. Listen, right now share group A now.
It's Central African Republic and Cape Verde.
Sorry. Central African Republic. Ochake group A. Sierra Leone with 7 points. South Africa with 6 points. Zambia with 5 points. And Egypt with 4 points. Most of the group no. They are guarantees to meet me produce either Zambia 5 points and then Egypt with 4 points. Or more group from here 5. So it means that 4 teams, likely says 4 teams no, or mean a bit more qualify. 4 teams a bit more qualify to the quarter finals because Egypt was 4, Zambia was 5. But list to all, who check group B now? If Tunisia can qualify as a third best man, list to all, Tunisia no over 3 points. Or one games a week. So Ghana group no, who check group Senegal was 1, Ghana was 4. So even if you lose your game, it is possible for us to qualify as one of the 3rd best teams. Because we group A, Egypt and Zambia, they will also qualify because almost 4, Zambia or 4. The only team or other group which is Tunisia, I don't know what 3 points. It's not likely so to qualify ahead of Zambia, Egypt and Ghana. So even if you lose to Ghana, you lose your game against Central African Republic, we will still qualify as one of the 3rd best teams in the competition this season. And in fact, say Samsung lose this game, you bet me qualify ahead of see you lose na Senegal win here. You bet me qualify ahead of team near the Senegal because list all in CAF no and in the rules no. Yeah, the head to head and the answer the goals are back. But right now in the head to head, Ghana share Senegal. So if Senegal are able to even beat DR Congo and Numera, no be 4 pointer. We still have a chance to qualify to the quarterfinals of the camp. Then the game no, maybe the list all. Enra are too clear. Say Jerry free eko. Ene Clinton Dodu. Who no pictures nimu. Ewo Yana Egypt. Me catch us Apollo Limos of they don't want to release the boy. But you see, sometimes this all ultimate blame some of the players. Blame the federation because the tournament year born list all is not captured. FIFA calendar. Into any team, a bit max so many team member. If captured in the FIFA calendar, and no bit a protest, the team will be fine. And it's animal. But I expect that the coach will give some of the players some of the players you whom say I drop your mom day. Say his president Ninuya Bao Bobo. Bimuzo ni bobo bimu say because politics and never part in presidency. They should give these boys chance to play for Ghanaians to see that it's no fluke. And me, I know some of the players are Omotaja Nice Ibrahim F Somombo. They said Akwano or you're skillful. They should give some of the players omunya minutes in this competition, you know, for them to play. In as much as we want to qualify, say qualify as the group lead, as the group header. A bit me a opposition be a bit me a boy, but who qualify as third best team? That is when you will meet one of the best teams and a 20 side in the but in fact, say Kusha Egypt, any other team be the defending champions, which is Senegal. Yet we shouldn't be afraid of any team. And I mean the main target I say qualify for the AIA World Cup. No, I think that is on course, and then we have to score more goals. Scare a lot of teams. So we've been able to score the defending champions. You qualify as the group lead with a lot of goals, and then nearby in the quarterfinals. Listo.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yes, I think would at this moment you're more qualified. The only thing I'm here saying is maybe to maintain that first spot. I bet me a bomb, but I think it has been a good competition among senior Vincent Boss. So, this is a game. Some players should be given the minute to also exhibit their talent. I name him say Bagana, never players. They have a lot of talent, young talent they can show. Indra me boss said these are tournaments are mostly scouts at a copa because all teams around Europe are looking for young talent that they can push into their setup, and even in the academy setup a bit me abo mo me him. So they should give the chance to the rest or muntimi good minutes in the first two games. No muntimi exhibit your talent, but I all hoping say Ghana bit me to qualify for the World Cup and also to go on and win the trophy. Bit me abo Ghana mine now.
Okay. Moment share okay. And awesome.
Okay. Internet may start with Man United ne Bilbao bet builder. Game may share over 2.5 and both team to score. Bodo Glimt and Tottenham over 2.5 and so Florentina and a Real Betis game no 1.5 and a Chelsea and Niger Garden may share over 2.5 and so code no V7DY V7DY.
Okay. My selections for the day. Me started with Chelsea Garden game no. A straight win for Chelsea over 1.5 goals. And both teams to score. Obeko no. Both teams to score. Obeko no. Yes. And another game. Then another belt builder. Manchester United and Atletico Bilbao game no. A double chance for Manchester United and over 1.5 goals in that game. Copenhagen and Viborg game no. A double chance for Copenhagen. Bodo Glimt and the Tottenham Hotspur game no. Double chance for Tottenham. Fiorentina Real Betis over 1.5. Almost 10 odds and in the mediama abusion for code no Z7DY. Z7DY.
Okay. Maybe Ali Bo match. 5 year Ali straight win. Bodo Glimt in Tottenham Hotspur. Bodo Glimt home win or 2.5. Fiorentina ne Betis. Fiorentina over 1.5. Like full match over 1.5. Chelsea Niger Garden. Chelsea home win. Man United and Atletico Bilbao over 1.5. And I'm ball a Copa Libertadores. Valles another Valles Salford or ne club Olympia nebo. Valles Salford for no home win or draw. The early straight win. Bodo Glimt win or over 2.5. Fiorentina Betis over 1.5. Chelsea straight win. Man United and Bilbao over 1.5. And Vélez Sarsfield and Club Olympia. Copa Libertadores no. We say so much no now they account. Now if you be then to me akoye. Yeah. This is a year me so me options no. Yeah, me trying 200 cedis. Me trying 1,000. Oh no na be anso no. To me I ako ye no. And yes, that is the current you know no. Now share two the ideal situation. Sir Spurs able to qualify and say they will qualify. Man United will qualify. And two teams in between them, who do you think can will win the trophy? And Chelsea, they obviously bad miracle. So Chelsea to qualify. Chelsea will qualify. Then between Fiorentina and Real Betis, so close, tight. Why ne bit me a Jerome share we nothing. Yeah, I cut 8 minutes. Nah, yeah, fine.
Okay, you share from the Conference League. So from the Conference League, there'll be an Chelsea with performance or identity from the start of the Conference League season. No, Ebepim Sisiano. These are teams are now on paper. They don't come closer to anywhere near Chelsea. And Nuntina and 8 means they are getting the chance into the final. Chelsea fan Bia and will be supporting Chelsea. Bia Bernard said this is a competition. They wouldn't prioritize it that much ahead of the Champions League race, also in the Premier League. But if they are to win this, it cements a lot of history behind the club. A bad day, so we me accord in breaking this particular history. Winning all 3 European trophies are available. So be a share so bit me winning with Enzo Maresca. And also Mariatas said this is a trophy. He's looking at winning. It will make everybody know, say yes, Chelsea are a club but they are ready to win, and this will be a stepping stone for Todd Bowley, investors need now to try and make people understand, say they are not just buying players but they are investing in the club. A first European trophy, but almost said they are kind of a bit me account when they get into the Champions League next season. Only 1 or 2 signings, things can go on well with Fiorentina and Real Betis. So share exposure for especially the Conference League. These are 2 teams that they are equally on the same level. If any of them are to get into the final against Team friend Chelsea, it will still be a blockbuster game for the competition. I think on Real Betis side, they need this competition more because of with performance or than in the competition. Secondly, in La Liga, Nyamankoyi, so winning a trophy like this will put them ahead in also conversations on beating me. Florentino on the other hand, no season and start here, but they've been able to revive their season, and who say Moiskin being one of the key players for them and heading this team, and they or Mutimi so beating me the final. So beside me the Conference League 2 teams and person Mudu final. I think I'll go for Chelsea and Real Betis in this final because we want to get a good final. It will give a good competition for team friend Chelsea, and if they can win or not, it will their fate to be in their hands on that night. Yeah, share the Europa no. Man United, say at the moment, because 70% they've qualified into the next round. Tottenham on the other hand, is maybe a 50 or 60% chances of getting into the final. These are 2 teams are finally here because one, so Mubia person go into Europa, or they want to crown their season being a successful season, meaning say they need to get into that final. And this is going to be maybe sometime I'm going to get maybe an all we friends an English final. The last time in whom Bisa was Chelsea Man United in the 2-way Champions League final. In the Europa all English. I think in the Europa BSC that was in 2019. It was Chelsea Arsenal. So this will be another time it will happen again. So we did 2 teams, no trophy in here. By a history back in the competition, so club beat me unbeaten, meaning that they have the chance to win the competition. That is in Man United. But Man United, they buy Europa competition they've not had luck in that particular competition. There are times that they come from the Champions League, even into the Europa. They've won it with Mourinho chance to Timmy more Timmy winning. And Mourinho being like maybe a godson to Jose Mourinho would like to replicate the same thing as Jose Mourinho here. Until Bernard Jane said he has to win the competition to be able to crown his season and yes successful, but to be able to crown it well and now prepare more for the Champions League. They need this Europa to also attract a lot of players next season. Into something that they need to go in all and try and win. Tottenham, on the other hand, they've been Angie from the start of the season. Okay, so on the second season, be an OJ trophy. So we'll see if history will back him for him to win that particular trophy for Team Efreno, Tottenham Hotspurs. But if I'm to decide on who would win this competition, between a London club and a Manchester club, being a Chelsea fan, I think I would go for Man United winning ahead of Tottenham Hotspurs.
Okay.
This competition.
All right. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Listo, I think that from the Champions League, the Conference League, and the Europa League, the Conference League now, I mean, it's too easy to predict a Chelsea Beji. Ukosruba from Chelsea Beji. Records whenever Chelsea, apart from the Champions League, or final first time the Europa League, and the Conference League, Beji Ababe, the only English team to have won, I think the only team Obeje all the 3 European competitions yet. But then the Champions League list though, that game is going to be a big game and Obedi. In fact, PSG, so if they're going to play against Inter Milan, that 2 top, it means that Hakimi and Abranta and they Nuno Mendes or more Jumaye. But I trust Nuno Mendes because in fact this season as PSG, whenever they are playing now, we a team are very good attacker. Obama Nuno Mendes, I can defend us now more like a 3v2 situation. So I this Champions League, to be very honest, all the teams, it will be very bad, very sad for Inzaghi to lose 2 Champions League finals in 3 seasons.
Okay.
And for PSG list to car any the project and Nassau I Kalafi any I mean or campus my year for these years after losing Kylian Mbappe, which check PSG last season, this season, physicality, everything they have improved. And Motimako could do final and losing the Champions League again will be very difficult. To me, I expect PSG to win. And with how Omobo this season, they can score any other team. Team is a bit say Inter Milan, so they can score any other team. That game, whoever takes his chances in the team will win. But I expect PSG to win. These two. So United Koshia Tottenham. It might a crowd stop and beat match or more. To be very honest, since Ange Postecoglou ba Tottenham Hotspurs, these two. United in share no. To be very honest, this season, Wabu United 3 times. This season. In the league first round, Ochi United Koshia Old Trafford 3-0. That game, Mekai, Brennan Johnson, Kulusevski, and Dominic Solanke, Omune shares out 2 goals. And yet again, Omusha the EFL quarterfinals. That is the quarterfinal knockout game. Omusansuchi United, Ebon 4-3. And the second leg, Nanwa the year, Wasansuachi United. Ashen. So this season, 3 times. But maybe United might go into a game or an encounter or be making sure that this season Tottenham Hashem 3 times. I won't let it happen for the 4th time. Okay. That one's well. But Ange Postecoglou, I report here and say, oh no, I say a drobi edinechi. Bebe could be on the 2nd season or G trophy. Okay. And then so chant also. A yampa. Ruben Amorim, this season we are unbeaten. But listen well. Me person Katoti Ambeji.
Okay.
Me person Katoti Ambeji. Me person Katoti Ambeji. At least they should win this Europa League and give Postecoglou Wabre. Me person Katoti Ambeji because
the Brain trophy.
Oh yeah, me person call. Me person.
Okay.
But bonus ni rituals no. Rituals no. Because this is Wabu United derby.
But Arsenal fans.
And listen, Pashomo omo rise to the Europa League. Edu we be do some free mo from nowhere. But United he has have the competition on a very smooth surface.
Red card.
So what I say? But we Tottenham. Bro, my break point means that Charlie. Oh no, Mpaya ne mama Boman said back on one 2nd season. I am Pama. So at least I think that
so if or not per se, if he managed to win the Europa League, should he stay or Tottenham should sack him?
Oh, he should stay. I mean, why are they being sit that? Or ya being sit that in the Tottenham Hotspurs record?
No,
and in fact,
with me winning a Tottenham being on 3rd European trophy.
yes.
Why are
Share players are Tottenham the board this is. In fact, they are one of the teams at least you do baby. No more players starting level mistakes a prayer. Up to now, Bim Kran by Dragos in Backview or someone. A goalkeeper. One player and chairman, the starting line a player pray in their setup this season. Ubi a bra suspension bama this Italian midfielder. Oh, Coca says son Himeni Nidina here from Team Kakra. Bentancur suspension. Yeah. So to me, I think that I will be very happy if Tottenham for GR, but United record in the Europa League this season. Okay. I mean, they are fantastic.
All right. Yes, you be join we so na fe we dey show ni nyina si. Nyame adom ochna Friday you be na fe ya ba be ram. We are entering into the last phase of various leagues. Now Premier League is gone, Bundesliga is gone, French League is gone. Now it's left with the Spanish La Liga, and this weekend Madrid Bontino. If Madrid doesn't win, I just say it is gone. Then Italy sono competition never cost for papa. The money has a same show, not a Vincent County Benedict Saka and a show no be a course you didn't list one. I mean, I don't much now. You say share a crab.